Mic check 1 2, mic check. Alright, we're good. What is up, denizens of the internet? I bring you a fresh new build. Caster Luna. This is basically what you would consider a Caster Luna. It's really cool. And we're actually gonna. It's actually so new that I haven't really polished it entirely. One thing I do know is that. Let's go to max level. The Aghanim Shard is the basis of this build. And I know it works with on-hit, so for example, it'll work with Quiver. I'm just giving you an example because we're going to go down the list, and I'll show you why this is so damn good. So, this is going to be played in either an offlane as a core. You could even support this. You could play support with this, believe it or not, just by maxing Beam and Aura, starting some plus stats. You'd probably start like some, and then regen, and just spend all the rest of your gold on regen throughout the game, basically, to get 2 nulls. Now, I know you don't want to support this, but I generally play this as a core middle, or solo mid. And if you go solo mid, you go the same build here, but you go stats beam to level 7, which means you'll get 2 levels of stats between 2 and 4, and maxing beam. It's a necessity that you go stats on the mid build, otherwise you will just simply die to 2 spells from the opposing mid. With the +6 all stats entering into the +4 all stats for the levels, you'll become dominant in the lane, combinations won't kill you, and so on. I know what you're thinking, well, isn't the aura really great for your CS? Well, I mean, maybe, but, you know, her damage is well enough to not really need that, plus your stats early on are giving you more damage as well. So, yeah, just learn to live with it, basically. Your build will look like this. As you progress, you're going to get the 2 nulls into mana boots. You get bottle mid, obviously, as well, but not bottle in the off lane. And then you're going to disassemble your boots into the Aetherlands. And then you're going to go into Maelstrom. The reason why is Maelstrom can proc on your beams, just like that. So what essentially happens is you can get that extra lightning damage off a random beam. And what ends up additionally happening is you can just beam a wave and it literally clears itself. Now, a interesting thing, so about this build is that Gleipnir is so fucking good because the interaction with Aghanims later on. As you can imagine, you know, being able to root multiple people in a good scenario, you know, it goes without saying how fucking good that is. And additionally, once you get the refresher combo, you know, the fucking double loop condo. You know what I'm saying? So, the combo of items itself plays really well to Luna's kit. Now, Atos isn't like amazing, but it's not terrible either. You know, it gives you an extra snare to kite people with. It gives you a reveal because you can in fog. It shows if a projectile goes out, essentially someone's there. So you have these vision checks with Gleipnir and stuff like that. So it becomes really good. It's a really kite-heavy build. Obviously, your best neutral items are going to be Lens, followed by, you know, Nethershaw or Bracers on Intellect. Enchanted Quiver is probably the best, followed by the Cast Range. The Quiver becomes just so solid because that's that 25-minute mark, and that's when you're going to have, like, your setup, and you're just going to start pounding away. Another good reason why this build's good is because your talents are fucking amazing. Mostly you're level 15-1, -3 seconds. So you're beaming every 3 seconds. So again, like, one beam can, like, clear a fucking wave. Especially when Maelstrom, so you can vacuum the entire jungle. You farm so fast, and because the shard reduces the mana, the synergy between our null talismans brings it down so low that we're basically spending such a low amount of mana on our item on our spells early on that like we can just freely do this. There's no downtime to this build basically. I will tell you that you're gonna need Boots of Travel because it's pivotal that you can kite back and forth. Because you don't want to engage ever. You're not the carry build Luna where you're gonna sit here and fucking carry. It's not gonna happen. You walk into melee, you're gonna fucking die. The only way you're even gonna attack is if you're forced to be in melee. This build is completely played on the edge of your screen. Like you're never fully engaging because your beam will work as your basic attack regardless. So you don't really need to attack anyway unless it's advantageous to. Obvious good items are the Voodoo Mask. Sorry, I have my stereo audio on. I don't have my headsets in. But the Voodoo Mask will help you stay alive. Believe it or not, it heals you for a shit ton, especially when you Eclipse. It helps deal with blade mails. You're already squishy because you're fucking Luna, so yeah. I've considered Bloodstone into the build because you could even disassemble your Octarine in some kind of scenario where you're like, say your shit's on cooldown, your Eclipse or whatever, you can swap it over if you really needed to. You know, there's some interaction there, there's some play. But yeah, I think the Bloodstone is just really solid. Let me show you just an example of how much technical lifesteal you're going to get back. Now this is 4 heroes stacked, but I do want to give you a representation of it. Because the fucking Gleipnir is just so much damage too, so like. Like, it's a lot of sustain. So, like, yeah, every time you're just gonna pump somebody, boom, little extra 100 health back, you know? It's not bad. It's not bad at all. And then, obviously, when you Eclipse, you're fucking money. You're so money. So, I mean, obviously they're bots, but, you know, you get an idea for the build. Other interactions, I believe crit works with it, so if you really wanted to stack that huge... So there's like a few ways you could empower... There's like a few variations of the build. You can go the Aghanim's Refresher build, which is like my preference because the Gleipnir interaction is so good. Or you can just go Lens Gleipnir into... Cause so like, you have to understand, on hits are going to work. So that means you could go Javelin onto the Maelstrom and even go this. Check this out. This is like a super squishy shit build, but I'm just showing you that what could be possible. So you got one beam. Well, that one didn't proc anything. But essentially you can get 3 procs on... Oh, there we go. So we got 2 there. There's 1, 2, 1. Was that 3? I think that was 3. So yeah, you can get all 3 procs on... Actually, it's all 4 procs. So we'll take this off for now, because that's always working. But there's the double. We got the Javelin and the Monkey. But can we get the Lightning all in one? Come on. Nope. But the idea is, yeah, you could technically, by adding a Javelin, you're adding technical damage to your, or possible damage to your fucking thing. And when you auto attack, you know, it's just free damage. So it's not like you're adding it uselessly because it's going to improve your farm. But like if you wanted to spike your Q a little bit, you could add just a random javelin because it's really cost effective. You could technically go into an MKB later if you wanted to pierce evasion, but it adds that little bit more of damage to your fucking Q. Right there, I just got double proc. See what I'm saying? So like it's kind of like a casino build where like you could stack effects, and then I believe the crit works. I actually haven't tested it because I wasn't gonna like I didn't want to faceplant my build, but I believe crit works. Ooh, it does. That was savage. That was a big dick fucking spell. So yeah, ooh, ooh, ooh. So you could stack damage. You could go. The most effective would be a Maelstrom Javelin. So you wouldn't even go Glipnir. You would just strictly go, because Glipnir is only really great with Aghanims builds, right? So you do something like this. You'd have this ready, and you would just fucking poke people down. Like, God, can I get a fucking crit? Oh, it's so tasty though. It's so beautiful. That's a good build right there. I need to try this variation out, the jackpot version, because like it looks so shitty though. Just fucking crit javelins look like a super shit build, but it's not that bad, um, for the obvious reasons that it works together. Interesting. Let's check out Diffusal. I wonder how that interaction. I know the first hit would work, but does Diffusal work like that? I don't think so. Just the initial hit, which isn't terrible, but not good enough. Not good enough. Really, Basher's not good enough. Oh right, so I wanted to talk about typical or possible Mjolnir builds or Mjolnir variations because Mjolnir bounces 12 fucking times. So if you would just consider that in like wave clearing, um, or just any kind of team fight, you know what I mean? Like anything, it bounces 12 fucking times. So like it becomes a super wave clear build, basically. And also Mjolnir's not bad. You get a shit ton of attack speed, right? You get this little charge, so it's not the worst. But the lightning jump, excuse me, is like really good with the spell vamp. Is what I'm trying to get at. Um, so yeah, it's not perfect, but it's a possible variation you could branch out into. Other than that, that basically kind of sums it up. You can buff your Q if you really want in through the javelins or the MKBs. But the most cost effective route would just be that extra javelin on the Maelstrom. Would really just do the most possible. Other than that, that's about it. Yeah, this build's really sick. The fucking once you see it in the farm, it's fucking crazy. When you just start one beaming waves or neutral camps and you just fucking clear it for no reason, you're like, wow, this is actually retarded. And like your harass is like insane early. Your poke's so good. You stay like a whole screen back. Really, no one can challenge you unless they have a fucking Aether Lens as well. So it's really good. Like it's just a really good build. I really haven't even had to I haven't had to build BKB from a middle standpoint because if you play it correctly and you're always a screen back, the only thing that really gets you is like blink daggers. But if you just play with some foresight, you can kind of get around that as well. So yeah, great fucking build. Obviously, Ethereal Blade works into this. I haven't even touched Kaya and all that shit just because, you know, Aghanim's Refresher is too good. You know, it's kind of hard to ignore that. But I'm sure you could do an F-Blade iteration of this build. Because you do have the Aetherlens cast range, so that is nice to have with it. Can I get a fucking lightning? I don't have a lightning item on me, that's why. Anyway, that about sums up the build. Hope you guys have fun playing this. Don't get it nerfed too quickly. I want to have some fun with it. Let me know if you find out any other builds that kind of work with it, work better, work worse. Let me know what you think. And yeah, enjoy.